Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. This is April Perry and Aaliyah Clausen.
Hello, everyone.
We're talking about the best tips for recovering from a trip quickly. I know you've been doing a lot of traveling, right?
Yep.
And we found that a lot of people in our community are coming and going. And for some people, it might seem supernatural to just organize and unpack. And they're thinking, what is the big deal? But
I think
for me,
most people relate to that, like suitcase in the closet that sits there for a month after the trip because you get home and you're tired, or you need to get going on a lot of other things for work and family and other stuff. Yeah. And that random suitcase just stays there, or other things just kind of get forgotten sometimes.
Right. And so because right now in the United States, it's summertime, a lot of people are traveling, we just thought, hey, we'll just share some ideas. Now, because there are a ton of travel tips out there, the goal here isn't to create this one-stop shop for all things travel related. But I just want to focus on how we get our minds back into homeostasis as quickly as possible. Here at Learn, Do, Become, we want to help people to get out of that overwhelm. And so part of that is where we teach how to build a command central. And part of it is we teach really specific tips and tricks and ideas to use for health and family and finances, things just with everyday life. But the goal here is I want to help everyone in our community to be able to move on to the most important things in our lives once we, get back from traveling. And then second, I really want us to look forward to our next trip or adventure instead of just feeling weighed down. Because if you know you're always going to have that suitcase sitting in your closet for 2 months, then you think, traveling, I have all this stuff, and then I have to find the suitcase and locate everything. It just feels like a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
Now, growing up, we had zero systems for things like this. So literally packing took more than a week. My mom would clear a spot in the living room and put the suitcases out literally a week before we left. And then slowly we would add to it, but it just felt so stressful. And then when we got home, my mom was probably in bed for a few days just because she was so tired and overwhelmed, and it really weighed on her.
And traveling wasn't her thing, really.
No, not at all. But I think it was mostly the packing and unpacking that wasn't her thing. I think the traveling was fine. She just felt like a bomb dropped by the time we got home. And I know when our children were little, sometimes I felt like I needed a full week to recover after any trip. And yes, usually most of us aren't traveling every week, so it's fine to take some time to recover. But maybe do you just want to start out briefly just sharing how, whether this is an issue for you or not? I mean, I think this is probably one of your strengths, that you and Josh can pack up. And Aaliyah's our daughter, by the way. And she and her husband, Josh, they're really organized, and they actually do travel and see family and go do things quite a bit. So,
yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I think my mom would give us, a packing list on the clipboard, and we'd check off and make sure we had socks and underwear and shirts and all that stuff. But yeah, I was definitely, I'd get home from the trip, and then I'd throw a few things in the laundry and just leave everything where it was. And then, I'd be looking for a certain brush that I took. I needed to brush my hair for school the next day, and I couldn't find it. And I think I didn't really start becoming more organized until I was maybe more on my own or a little bit older. So I think obviously kids are going to have their own, their own little quirks with packing and unpacking. And
or forgetting underwear for the trip.
Yeah, that happened for some people in our family. Yeah. And so I think once I was able to be older and realize that I didn't like having just the dirty clothes that never really made it to the hamper, or the half clean clothes mixed in, I wanted to have everything really neat and really tidy and organized. And then I started making a system for myself where as soon as I got home from a trip, even though sometimes I would get back late at night, or it'd be, maybe not the most optimal time to start getting a system going, I would say, okay, I'm just going to take all the clothes out and quickly do a sort. Everything dirty just goes straight into the hamper. Everything clean I'll deal with in the morning, or if I was in the day, maybe in an hour or something. And I would just give myself those microbursts where I wasn't expecting myself to finish everything in 5 minutes, but I could spend 10 or 15 minutes at a time just taking things out, sorting them, even if it's just okay, this is bathroom stuff, this is garage stuff, this is closet stuff. I would just sort it, and then I could gradually start putting it away. And so now what we do is even coming down to visit my parents, they live an hour and a half away. And so we do overnight trips sometimes. We just take a laundry basket with us. We don't even do a suitcase.
You walk in with our laundry basket?
Yeah, we have a laundry basket. That was Josh's idea, and it's awesome. And we just put our clothes in there, our toiletries, and then maybe a couple things that we've been meaning to bring down to you guys. And then we just take the laundry basket, and then we bring it right back home. And then everything can be unloaded in 5 minutes, and we're done unpacking. And so it's kind of finding those ways that work best for you, where, maybe a laundry basket is
I would never have thought of that.
Yeah, I didn't think of it either. Or when we got home from like a 2-week trip where my husband was working in a different state, we just decided, you know what, we're super tired. We just finished driving 8 hours today and we don't want to be doing any more travel stuff. But we got home and immediately just took everything out of the cooler and got it clean and starting to get dry, because that's one thing I can't stand, is having like that mildewy cooler or like food you take on the vacation that starts going bad or it's like getting gross. Like I don't like that. And so even if maybe the clothes weren't all perfect, the food was at least taken care of, and then we could get to stuff later. So I think just breaking it down into those 10 to 20 minute segments is really manageable.
And as we're talking about this, I know we're talking about very specific logistic things today, but the thing is, I know what it's like to come home from a trip to either ants all over the pantry or tons of work or really tired family members. And there also are a lot of hidden emotions and frustrations or things to work through before, during, and after travels. And a lot of this really isn't mentioned publicly, but what you see usually on social media are, the highlight reel. You see, oh, isn't that a beautiful waterfall? Or, oh, look, they're all dressed so cute and they're on this vacation. But anytime you actually sit down and talk to friends, you say, oh, your trip looked amazing. And then you hear what was actually going on behind the scenes. And sometimes it's great. Sometimes, oh, it was a perfect trip.
But maybe something got canceled, or it was raining, or people were tired and hungry, and
their financially it really hurt your family. Or, there was something that was going on where you're like, you don't know actually what was going on behind the scenes. But this trip kind of dug up some really hard things.
Or family tensions that you didn't really talk about before.
So I just want to acknowledge that, because I think the most important work that we're doing is with our relationships and, finding that purpose in our lives and feeling really good. If we can handle these logistics and just get things unpacked and put away quick, then I think you can take more of your energy to go solve those problems, to, dive deep into what was making that person so grumpy. Or, we need to actually look at our budget a little better, or I really don't feel healthy after that trip, or, whatever it was. So the goal is, let's make unpacking super quick and simple, and let's move on to the more important things in life and be able to take trips and feel like it's a great thing, because traveling or seeing family, whatever, is awesome. So I'm not going to read everything on here. Aaliyah and I were just kind of looking over. If you go to the show notes page, and we'll just have it linked here with the podcast wherever you're listening, but if you go to the show notes page, you can actually see what we've written out. There is a whole lot of really solid information. We actually went to the Step Mastery Facebook group and said, okay, what are your tips for quickly unpacking? And we had so many awesome responses. And then I just went through and put them into a few different, subcategories, and I have them all here for you. So go to the page, you can actually read through it, but we'll just share a few here to get you thinking and hopefully feeling kind of excited, a little inspired. And then we can move on. So, okay. So the 3 categories, first, we're just talking about general unpacking and laundry. And then second, groceries and meals. And third is the mental catch-up. I feel like that's really what we specialize on here at Learn to Become, is that mental side, like the mail, the tasks, and things like that. But maybe we'll just read a few of these. Do you want to start? Maybe just pick one that sounds fun to you for general unpacking and laundry.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can just do that first one if you want. So it's from Lisa, and it says, unpack your luggage right away and put a load in the laundry. If you're able to do laundry on your trip, if you want to, do it, and it will save you time when you get home.
And a lot of people actually said that. They said, oh, yeah, if I'm at a timeshare, maybe we have a washer dryer, or the hotel had a washing machine.
Or Airbnb or something like that.
So coming home with a laundry clean, like, you're ahead of the game a little bit. Here's one from Kim. She said, family unpacks dirty clothes downstairs next to the laundry room before the suitcases are carried upstairs. I also take out shoes, jackets, anything that belongs downstairs. My kids are little, so I still do this part, but they're learning how to empty their suitcase when I bring it upstairs. It's their required chore the day after we get home from a trip. With this method, the suitcases are in everyone's bedrooms within hours of getting home, and suitcases are stored away within a day or 2. So I love that. Super practical and awesome.
Getting the whole family involved, so it's not just on one person to be in charge of
because I think that was the problem for my mom, is it was all on her, and she was always like, does anyone want to help us?
You're like, we're tired, we want to watch cartoons.
And she didn't make us, so we didn't, which in hindsight I would have helped. Anyway, do you want to share this one from Carrie?
Yeah, it says pack all dark colors for 3 days, so I have 1 load of laundry to do the night I get home. So
That was so smart.
that's awesome.
Just let's not pack a variety. Anyway, we do lights and darks, and Eric's our emperor of laundry, but he usually just does like 1 dark load, 1 light load, and
And the more I've been learning about laundry, and maybe this isn't super scientific, but some people who have a lot of kids or big families, they're like, actually laundry, when you first get the clothes, it's important to sort them out by colors.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, you can kind of start sorting them by texture, whether it's like super durable or super like, linens or things that need more care.
Yeah.
And that way you don't have to worry as much about color. It's more just like, just get it in the laundry and kind of categorize. So it's kind of fun to see there's different ways and styles of doing laundry.
Yeah.
And so if you're feeling stuck, like that's my big sticking point, I hate laundry, I can't do it. There's awesome like blogs out there and YouTube videos of people who have awesome ideas I would never have thought about.
Well, or Kelly suggested the app Hamper, HAMPR. You can get someone else to do all your post-vacation laundry. I'm like, okay, great idea, Kelly. So if that's something you're interested in, that's awesome. This one from Catherine I think was super helpful too.
Yeah, it says have a standard, quote, things to do list. That's a reverse of the one you use to prepare to leave, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
Stuff like restart the mail and paper, reset the thermostat, deactivate automatic light timers, etc. We always turn off our water and hot water heater if we're going to be gone for more than a few days. We've seen too many people come home from vacation to a flooded house.
So that was really practical. And I think obviously then she has a things to do list before she leaves, stop the mail, do all that stuff, and then a restart list.
Yeah, because you frequently talk about having the list like things to do after Christmas, for example. So during the holiday, you're not trying to think of, how can I get things done right now? But you have that post-holiday or post-event list. So I think that's awesome, having kind of a get back into the routine list.
Get back into it. So anyway, it was just fun ideas. I loved hearing from our community. And more ideas now in the groceries and meals category. Carrie started out and said, get a crock pot or casserole meal in the freezer before I go. And that was actually a really common theme I started hearing. Like Jill had also said, we tend to freeze our dinner leftovers in quart-sized bags. Helpful to have ready-made dinners available. So just not getting home and being like, we have nothing to eat because I emptied my fridge or something like that. Do you want to read this from Catherine?
Yeah, so Catherine said, have a plan for the first couple meals and restocking groceries. If possible, set a grocery order for pickup on your way home. Go through your toiletries and restock anything that's low. I travel often and keep my products packed at all times. Also schedule time to close those loops from the trip, like deodorizing, wipe down and put away luggage, find homes for souvenirs, process any documented memories, like journaling or printing, posting, archiving photos, and store your passport, which is so important.
Yeah, she put all these things here together, just good things to remember, and she travels often, so that's great.
Yeah, because how often do you have those documents and they're in your backpack or in your side bag, and then
where was that?
When it just never gets put back into its original spot. That's so smart.
And these things are so silly, but even like I always take chapstick with me, and I don't usually have a ton of chapsticks. I have like 1 I keep by my bed. So then I would be packing it to take with me, and then I'd get home and I'd forget to put it back by my bed. It's like, I just need to buy more chapstick and have.
But until then, because I feel that I have like a different like hair scrunchie just to like get my hair out of my face, but I have a car one, a room one, a desk one. So if I move it, I mess up my whole system of like my household scrunchie locations. So I feel that. I think either
buy a few more.
Maybe a couple more, but if you can't do that, then have a way to keep track of it.
Put it back.
Maybe you need a little chapstick holder. They sell them to put on your keychains, so you could.
Totally. It's just things like this where we're trying to reduce the friction.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you can't find your scrunchie, now you're like, oh shoot,
I'm
maybe
like,
take 5 more minutes to go find more. I don't know. But I love that. And then Roxana just said, before leaving on a trip, I will double up at least 2 of my regular meals and freeze a couple of them. When I come home, it buys me a little time by not having to prepare lunches and dinners right away. And then she places a grocery delivery order to arrive the morning after she gets back, so then she doesn't have to run out for perishables. So, and she said this is like a sometimes, not every trip, but it's good to have in her back pocket if needed. And so it's just things like that where you just think, oh, how smart. It might cost a few more dollars or whatever to have groceries either ordered or ready for you at the store or delivered or something like that. But so smart.
Or even just like what we do is, we freeze a lot of things because we're college students, we want to make sure we're not wasting food in general, but also staying on our college budget. And so we're like, if we can just freeze a couple things, maybe they'll have a little ice crystals on them if we don't freeze them totally perfectly. But we can just jump right back into the system and then put those meals right into the stove or
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, want to dive into mental catch-up now?
Yes.
I think, well, maybe we'll just start with Deborah.
Okay, yeah. So Deborah says, schedule catch-up time. Put it on the calendar before you go. And this is so good. And then Jill also added that she schedules a pop-up review on the day after she gets home to regroup and catch up on anything that was missed. She said, I often have one-off tasks that have piled up while I was away as well. And I also schedule an hour to knock these out just one time so the rest of the week feels light and doable. I find that these 2 steps make a huge difference in how the rest of the week feels upon returning from a trip.
And this is a really common theme. Heidi said the same thing. Have a day before you have to be on again. Jennifer had said, do your best to plan for extra time after the trip to return to normal life. Don't schedule to come back late on a Sunday and then plan to start your normal routine Monday morning. Because all you're doing is saying, I'm going to be tired. I'm going to have stacks of mail. I'm going to have tons of stuff I didn't do while on my trip, and then you're going to feel overwhelmed. So,
I mean, this is like, I just finished planning like a 2-day getaway. We're both in school doing summer classes and we have like 3 days or 4 days before the next semester's classes start. And so I'm in charge of planning the trip because my husband's doing finals and tests then. And so I just planned it. And at first we were going to get home like late Sunday night and then start our brand new semester on Monday. And then I realized, you know what? It's one day out of that road trip that we could just focus on coming home and then having an extra day back home. Yeah. Or maybe, it is taking out a little bit of that planned vacation time, but it makes all the difference in the world knowing that we're going to have that whole day of recovery time, catch-up time, especially preparing for a whole semester to start.
So I love this. So those are just some of the ideas that were shared. Again, you can go to the show notes page to read through it. Now, I did just put here on the show notes page our family's general recovery process, and I'll just review just briefly here, kind of similar to what Aaliyah was talking about at the beginning, how they do it. But before we go, usually Eric does the laundry first, so we're packing clean stuff. We totally clean out the fridge, so nothing's going to go bad while we're gone. We run the dishwasher, take out the trash, obviously things like this. And the thing is, as I'm sharing this, some of you might be thinking, hello, April, this is just super obvious. I've always done this. But our family never even thought about these things when I was growing up. Like, it wasn't even considered. And so we always came home to moldy food. Like, I don't know why we didn't do.
But man, that was probably like the least, like the most important thing on the priority list.
Like,
it was just so many other things ahead of it.
Yeah, it just didn't happen. We just kind of lived in piles, and I remember we were trying to leave on the trip, and the tires exploded like that morning. And so my mom's like, I'm so glad they exploded this morning and not while we're all packed up out on the freeway. But like, that was the kind of thing where, and it wasn't that she was lazy. It's just that she'd never learned the skill set of planning in advance and anticipating.
Yeah, like a routine car inspection.
Right, like before you take a long trip, let's make sure the tires are done. She just hadn't quite learned that. And so we had a lot of things that just kind of kept coming up, like fires. We were putting out fires a lot. And so this is, okay, all right, I'll get back. So anyway, we do turn off the AC, lock things up, whatever. But then mentally, I check my inbox, my physical paper inbox, and I look through it and I make sure everything can wait until the day after we get back. And I have that catch-up day. I do get my emails to 0 every time we go on a trip. And if they aren't 0 by the time we leave, sometimes I'll be like, Eric, I'm just going to be on my laptop here in the passenger seat on my hotspot for 20 minutes, getting things to 0 because I like that. I think it feels great. And then we just do like a general tidy of the whole house. But then as soon as we get home, we don't just run in the house and lay down. We take everything just out of the car. Maybe if there's some camping equipment or something that's going to go in the garage, we leave it there. But we just maybe we'll do 5 trips into the house. Trash, suitcases, water bottles, pillows, blankets, coolers, food, whatever. And then we just put bags and personal items right in our rooms so that the general entry area and kitchen's clean. Then I go through all of the water bottles, food items, coolers and stuff pretty quickly. I turn on a Spotify playlist and I just start there. I'm like, okay, we're just going to get this kitchen clean.
And you make it fun. It's not like a drag, no. I hate this.
No.
It's like, hey, we're going to turn on fun music and then everyone helps because it can take 20 minutes if we all help. Or it's going to take mom an hour.
Or sometimes, when it was the family. Now it's like Eric will go turn on the AC, kind of check the house, do some other stuff, and help bring in maybe heavier stuff from the car while I'm doing the kitchen stuff. But then I just unpack my suitcase quick, get everything in the laundry. I put things into like sub piles, like Aaliyah was saying, like this goes out into the bathroom, this goes in the kitchen, this goes, downstairs, whatever. And then usually Eric does the laundry the day after we return. And then we just eat, really simply when we get back. Sometimes when the kids were little, we'd drive by a gas station and get a gallon of milk on the way home just so we could eat cereal or something like that. And then that next day I catch up on email, sort things, clean my inbox, decompress, have some time to rest. Usually I'm pretty tired after traveling. And so anyway, that's been super helpful. And then just kind of some bonus links. If you've been following Learn to Become for a while, you probably know I struggled with my health for a couple of years. So now I'm feeling super healthy. I think I've been healthy like almost a year now. I've been feeling really good. But eating well and moving my body are just non-negotiables because otherwise I just get sick. And so I put a link to this Blend Jet and my Power Beets. I know it's so weird, but I make these little spinach smoothies on the go and it gives me lots of greens and I feel so good. I have a little foldable yoga mat, the recipe for my frozen chocolate protein smoothies. I usually make like 4 to 6 of them the night before we leave and freeze them. And then I put those in the cooler along with other foods that settle well for me. So anyway, have that if you're super excited about the smoothie that we eat every morning. I do pack vegetables and healthy foods in the cooler.
The amount of time she's been stopped by airport security for vegetables.
Well, and now typically if I'm traveling on a plane, I take a very few vegetables with me. And then I do like Instacart or something like that once I arrive. But lately we haven't been flying much. We're doing more just like little trips or, we had a wedding or a conference or, little getaways. But when I can take my cooler, I'm always super excited because then I get to bring all my smoothies and all of my vegetables. But yeah, the airport security, they don't like hard-boiled eggs or whole cucumbers. They're like, what are you doing?
It's always an adventure, and my dad's always just standing there watching, like, we're already ready out of security, and...
I've learned that all my food items go in one security bag alone, and then I say, that's all my food. Anyway, that's how we work.
That's awesome.
And then... Actually, and then the other thing is Eric and I, if we are driving, we actually bring like dumbbells with us, and because we've been doing our Caroline Gervin workouts, and she does them. They're on YouTube. We're doing her iron series right now. I'm so excited. We're like 4 weeks in. It's like a 6-week thing. But she does all the workouts so that you can just stand in one little spot. So even if you have a tiny hotel room, you can still do it. And so we were doing our workouts on the road. Anyway, that's been really fun because that way we are healthy and still in a good routine when we get home. Because I found if I was on a trip where I was just eating junk and not moving much, I'd come home and I'd feel super sluggish. And so anyway, that was just some happy things. And I just added in the post, like, well, maybe all this extra stuff, like with the health, is unrelated to the topic of recovering from a trip quickly. But here at Learn to Become, we want to help support the whole person. I want you to be organized, and I want your house clean, and I want your fridge to be, well stocked and smell good. And I want you to have clean clothes to wear and all of that. But it's not because someone's going to come to your house and judge you or evaluate you on how clean your house is. It's because when you have that organized foundation, now your spirit starts feeling a little better, and then you have the bandwidth to invest in your health and your relationships. And so it's that whole person, that we care about. So anyway, those are just my final thoughts. Anything else you want to add?
I think it's made a huge difference growing up where I don't feel like it takes us weeks to have our house and life get back to normal. And that's really set me up for success being an adult and being able to be more flexible and not worry that if I do go on vacation, or if I had to, step away from things for a little bit, that things wouldn't just pile up and stack up in my life, whether it's, papers and assignments and projects. Like, I have a system that works to manage all the brain stuff, all the projects, but then all the physical stuff is managed too. And so I think it has been awesome to start out my adult life with all of those skills ready to go.
Well, and even just a few minutes ago, Leah and I were planning. So we're starting 4 weeks to finished here at Learn to Become September 1st. That's our first class. So if you want to do it at learntobecome.com/4 weeks, the number 4, WEEKS. And so as we're looking at the calendar, Aaliyah had, her trip for a couple days planned the week before that. And she was able to say to me, okay, here's when our vacation is. Let's look ahead at the projects, anything that we need to happen on those 2 days, when I'm going to be on vacation, we would need to do that in advance. So let's just have a meeting to prep it and talk about it. So we've got our prep meeting on our schedule to talk later this week. I see on the calendar, okay, here's when she's going to be gone. And so because we have weeks to anticipate this and prep,
then an entire month to set everything up for this new 4 weeks to finish course.
So I won't bug you while you're on vacation because you're going to have your stuff done, and I know you're going to be gone, and I can wait till you get back, and for whatever else we can do. But I really appreciated that you're looking ahead, you're planning ahead, because now you can just have a fun vacation, and you don't need to worry because you manage a lot of projects. But it can be fun for you.
Yeah, but that prep work really saves a lot of the frustration, or people waiting on you, or people wondering like, oh, can I get in touch with them? How do I, even interact with them while they're in this either traveling or conferences or whatever?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that preparation. So
it makes a difference, and then you can enjoy your life.
Yes.
And have lots of fun. Okay, so we will close up now. Just if you want to work with us here at Learn, Do, Become, if you're like, I love all the free resources, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into your programs. So the best way to work with us is 4 weeks to Finished. That is our small group coaching program. It is so fun. We did a session in February and another session in June. And our third session that we're starting is September 1st. So check out learndobecome.com/4 weeks for that. The STEP program is what 4 weeks to Finish is based on. That's where we help you build a command central. So we have a link to that here on the show notes page. Our Arise membership, that's where we go a little bit deeper, where it's not just about organizing. It's, finances, purpose, family, connecting with your higher power, being able to have that clean environment, but be able to take it to the next level. So we also have a link to the Arise membership. You can even get a 7-day free trial that's here on our show notes page. And then, of course, there's lots of free resources. We have a Connect page that shows you our YouTube channel, our free Facebook group, more about our podcast, all kinds of stuff there. So that's at learndobecome.com/connect. So hopefully if you are feeling like, I want my life to be more organized, I want to feel less overwhelmed, you don't have to do it alone. Whether you do free or paid resources or a combination of the two, we're here for you and care about you. So have an amazing day. We'll see ya.